Hey, there's your Wisconsin Wine Guy, and I am back again with another wine review. And guess what? We're back at Peninsula. I almost forgot I had this one, so I want to do this for you as well. For those who are new again, these are wines I like to call everyday drinking wines. Now, with Peninsula, this is a local wine. I like to support my local wineries, right? It's a local wine, but they do ship in quite a few states, to quite a few states throughout the United States. So I'll make sure I put the link in there. So if you like this review, want to try this wine, you can see if it ships to your state. All right, so there you go. The simple rating system, the thumb rating system. Double thumbs up, 3/4, halfway, thumbs down. All right, very simple, right? Can't go wrong with that. So now let's get to it. So this is going to be the Razzle Dazzle coming out of Peninsula, out of Door County. This is going to be coming in at 11.5% alcohol. Price is at $13.99. You know, depending on where you're shopping here in Wisconsin. So it is sold here in Wisconsin, but again, it do ship. I'm not quite sure what the online price is, but you can check that out when you check the link. So now, here's my thing on raspberry before we get into this wine. I like to always say that I began to learn about wine when I came to Wisconsin, being from California. Being from California, I was a snob, you know. This is how I had to roll. But when I came here, at the time, 30 years ago, there was a lot of choices to choose from, you know, when it came to local stuff. So I had to learn about wine. I had to get into the whole fruit wine scene, but it has evolved into something more than that now. We have, you know, locally grown grapes and making some delicious wines here in Wisconsin. But I had to learn, and all of a sudden I became not a snob, and I got into the whole fruit wine thing. In fact, I never even tasted a fruit wine before until I came to Wisconsin. I've even tasted a dandelion wine. You know, I never heard of that kind of stuff, but it gave me a completely different appreciation for a wine. Thank you, Wisconsin. You educated me. All right. So now, raspberry. I've never had a raspberry wine before. However, there is a winery called New Glarus, which is not about this video, but New Glarus, they make a raspberry beer, which I thoroughly enjoy. I drank a lot of that when I first came here. I thoroughly enjoyed the raspberry beer from New Glarus. And then there's called the Framboise. This is a raspberry liqueur. You know, most of us have heard of that, the Framboise. Okay, and that I enjoy as well. Mix in with cocktails or just throw a little spritz in it over ice, and there you go. You know, so I had those, but raspberry wine has been something new to me. Now, this particular wine here is made differently. So it has a grape base. So the wine is grape based, and then they use raspberry flavoring, you know, to add to the wine. Okay, so that's kind of different. But let's give it a taste. It says that this is their, you know, a hot selling wine. They say serve it chilled, you know, but I think I don't have it as chilled as it was. I should have put it in the freezer. But serve it chilled, I should have had this sitting on ice, poured ice in a glass. But serve it chilled should be a great, fantastic, you know, patio pounder. You know about patio pounders? I'll tell you about it another time. But serve chilled, so I'm not as cold as it probably should be, but it still should be nice. You know, so I'm looking forward to trying this and seeing, because I never had a raspberry wine or raspberry flavored wine, but I have had dandelion wine, right? How did I miss that one? So on the nose, definitely smells like raspberry. You know, definitely smells like raspberry. Even has a raspberry color there too. All right, so that's nice. Now, two-step process. You're going to taste the wine. All right, taste for its acidity, and then taste it again. Then give you my opinion. Here we go. All right. Mouth watering. That part's good. Because I do a full mouth rinse, I do pick up some tannins, subtle. Now for the taste. Now I have to tell you, to be honest with you, I don't eat raspberries. I don't know why. I just don't really like raspberries. It's not my thing. But a lot of people like raspberries. But I don't eat raspberries. I do like the raspberry liqueur, and I do like the raspberry beer. Is that odd? Is it like my son doesn't like tomatoes, but he likes ketchup and pasta, tomato sauce for pasta? Go figure. Now, let's get back to here. So, on the taste, definitely has that raspberry taste. to it as well. This is a sweeter style. That's why I recommend have it thoroughly chilled. I would love to have this in a spritz, so I would throw some club soda in there over ice. Wow. I think it has a potential. Okay? It has a potential. So if you like raspberry, I think you would enjoy this. If you like sweet wines or sweeter wines, I think you would enjoy this as well. You know? But you have to give it a try and see. Outside of that, again, it has a definite. I wish I had it thoroughly chilled. I wish I had some spritz to put in there. But it has good flavor. I like the grape base. The grape base adds a little bit more fruitiness to it. Okay, so that's fantastic. A little more fruit base to it with the grape base to it. But the raspberry is right there, and you pick up that sort of tartness to it. I wonder if it's a white grape that they use in this one. So here we go. Let's get to it. So Wisconsin wine, guys. We're in the Door Peninsula. Razzle, Dazzle, Raspberry. I'm going to give this a 3/4. Okay, 3/4, and I'll tell you why. 3/4 because they use a raspberry flavoring. That's it. When I drink this, if it's summertime and if it's nicely chilled, or if they got some, little concoctions made with it, yeah, heck yeah, I would. But because of the raspberry flavoring, I'm going to give it 3/4. But you try it. Let me know what you think. It's your Wisconsin Wine Guy saying, as always, let your palate be the guide. Let's select your wine. I'll see you next time. Ciao.